Join the coven. The Party in the Cabin in the Woods. A story written by Dead by 21. I never wanted to come out here. This was, and I can't stress this enough, Cassidy's idea. She had heard about it through Jake, who heard about it from Andre, who heard about it from Roman, who was invited by his co-worker. I didn't personally think it was a good idea to head out to a cabin in the woods based on that chain of events. But Cassidy was excited and couldn't get off work until 10. Everyone else would have gotten there at like 9, and she didn't want to show up alone. So, I told her I'd at least get her in the door after a lot of prodding. Come on, Nate. I don't like going to these alone. Why? Like, once you get in, it doesn't matter who you showed up with, right? Yeah. I went back to cleaning out the coffee bean grinder. Cassidy sat down at one of the many empty tables in the store. She took out her phone and made a call. Nate won't take me, so if I'm not there by 10:30, I'm probably dead in the woods. Murdered, brutally, horribly, in pieces. She looked up at me while she said that. I couldn't hide it. It really bothered me, and she knew it. Fine, I sighed out. She smiled. Hey, don't get excited too soon. I'll walk you in the door, and then I'm gone. Cassidy rolled her eyes. Whatever. She left the store. I went back to my cleaning. Cassidy walked back up as I was locking the front doors. She was dressed for a night out and seemed excited. That's what you're wearing? She asked me, a mix of disgust and confusion. I glanced at my outfit, a dirty pair of jeans and a very ugly old t-shirt. I didn't think I was going out. I don't have a change of clothes, I said, shrugging. Besides, I'm not staying. Sure, right. I'm serious. I know. We walked to my car in the back of the parking lot. It was a quiet night out. No cars on the street. No people walking to or from the bar across the street. It was odd, really, that there wasn't even any noise coming from anywhere. I didn't think too much of it at the time, though. We got in the car. I moved some empty gum packets off the passenger seat, and Cassidy sat down. Okay, do you know where we're going? I texted Andre, just waiting to hear back. I'm stopping for coffee. You want anything? Before a party? A party I'm not going to. Okay, sure. I grabbed my coffee and pulled out of the drive-thru. Okay, Andre says to follow Jerseyville until it turns into Old Wilson, Cassidy said without looking up from her phone. I didn't like the area. I had only ever driven there once before. Some jerk kid I knew lived all the way out there, and some friends had convinced me to go to his party. The whole section of land doesn't have a single streetlight, and the houses are half a mile apart. It's bad vibes for miles, so I wasn't super happy to be going out there. But I wanted to be a good friend, in the moment at least. I was driving, talking about something that probably didn't matter, while Rich Sex by Future was playing too loud from the radio. Slowly, the street lights became less frequent, one every 100 meters, then one every half kilometer. Then they were gone entirely. I lowered the music. Cassidy, can you put the address in? I asked, trying to cover up the fear I was feeling. We're going the right way, she said, looking up from her phone. I know. I would just really like to make sure, you know? I glanced at the gas tank. I'm almost empty and don't want to get stuck out here looking for this place. I think she knew then a bit of how I was feeling. Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Cassidy smiled and punched in the directions on her phone. Keep going straight and then turn into green. Follow that for about 15 minutes and then we'll more or less be there. I nodded. Perfect. We were now deep in the woods after turning down green. Everything felt like it had changed. The streetlights were still gone, but everything around us felt like we were in a worse version of Little Red Riding Hood. It seemed as if the road was being carved into the woods just as we drove onto it. It seemed never ending, despite not being able to see more than 5 feet in front of me. And then the road stopped. I hit the brakes as we slid quickly toward the edge and into the trees. Cassidy yelped. The car stopped. What the hell? I said as I got out of the car and went to check the damage. Just a few scratches on the bumper. Not that bad. Cassidy got out too. You okay? I asked her. Yeah, I'm fine. You good? She said. Yeah, where the hell are we? Oh, it's fine, Cassidy told me. Andre says that we just have to walk from here, and we'll know it when we see it. Nah, I'm not doing that. Really, Nate? Really? Just gonna leave your friend to walk through the dark woods like that? Kind of a bad friend move. I sighed. I wasn't gonna do that. So we started to walk through the woods. There wasn't a trail or anything, so the two of us were trying to navigate the branches and rocks that looked like they hadn't been touched for 1,000 years. Are you sure this is the right way? I asked. 'Cause if there's a party at the end of this line, I feel like there'd be some sort of life. 100%, Nate. Stop worrying so much. Easier said than done. How is this even fun? Like really, dredging through all of this? For what? It makes it more memorable, honestly. In a month we can say, like, oh, remember having to climb through all that nonsense? And the party wasn't even worth it? You don't even think it's gonna be good, and you're still making me do this? Cassidy laughed. It'll all be worth it. After walking for what felt like an hour, I began to hear the sounds of fun. The loud music, I could feel the drum of it in my chest. The sounds of people yelling randomly, having fun. Cassidy was smiling and moving quickly now. She was ready to finally have fun after this unexpected hike. Yo, text Andre or Roman. Let 'em know you're almost here so I can leave you with them, I said. Already did. They're meeting me up front. And then we saw it. The cabin that really wasn't even a cabin. It looked more like a mansion in the middle of nothing. The main part of the building looked like something out of Gatsby. It even had a fountain in front of it. There was a large circular park for cars to pull up, but no cars were there. I thought it was a bit odd to have places for cars when there was no way for cars to get out here. But whatever, I just wanted to get out of there. There were pillars on the large porch that were sandwiching a large staircase. All sorts of people were sitting there, valuing the best part of a party. The outdoor sit for a smoke. Lights were shining through the windows, the music was loud, and shadows of people were clearly having a good time. From what I could see, the place extended way out back. It's amazing. I've never seen this place before, I told Cassidy, who was now walking about a foot ahead of me. Right? Like, wow. Wow! She sounded mesmerized by it all. As we got closer to the stairs, they started to intimidate me slightly. just how actually large they were, almost impossibly large in scale. Roman and Andre were standing by the door, drinks in hand, and smiling and waving Cassidy in. We both stopped walking. She looked at me. "Are you sure you don't want to come? I think it'll be really fun." "I'm sure. Got a lot to do tomorrow." "Okay, text me when you're back at your car. These woods freak me out." "Tell me about it. Be safe, eh? Make sure you stick by Roman or Andre and call me if anything happens, okay?" "For sure. Thank you." "Anytime. Have fun." Cassidy ran towards the stairs and somehow managed to get up to them. She looked so happy there. Roman and Andre looked so excited. It was a good feeling seeing them all ready for such a good time. Once I saw the three of them go inside, I turned around back towards the deep woods. Walking through these alone was way worse. But at least I vaguely knew where I was going. I was going through bushes, rocks, and branches all in the dark of night. I had no idea how long I had been walking, but I could tell I had gone far, as the sounds of the party were completely non-existent. I started to have a bad feeling in my stomach. The type where you're out alone at night and something just doesn't feel right. The type of feeling that tells you to scurry into your room when you get a 3 a.m. glass of water. So I started to speed up as much as I could. I couldn't describe it, but I wanted to get out of these woods. And then I heard the screams, a very distinct scream. It was Cassidy, and it was a horrible scream that sounded as if it was her soul being ripped from herself in that moment. It made me immediately turn around. The scream wasn't stopping. It felt like it was getting more intense, more visceral, and frightening. And I wanted to make it stop. I had to make it stop. I started running back towards the house. I couldn't hear the sounds of the party, but I could hear Cassidy screaming. I wanted to help. I needed to help. How could I have left her where that was happening? I had to help. I had to fix this. Where was Andre and Roman? Why was this happening? I was running, tripping over every obstacle in nature through in front of me. Adrenaline shooting from my heart straight into the stem of my brain. I needed to get there. Now! It felt like it was taking forever. That this was life now, running through these woods, listening to the screams of my friend. I could see the lights of the house. I was almost there. The screams were piercing my ears now. I couldn't make out the actual house, just bright lights. But I could see there was a clearing ahead. I was almost there. I was almost there. I was almost there. I broke through the woods, and there was nothing. The screams stopped. The lights stopped. There was nothing but a large clearing where the house was. The indent was on the ground from where it was, but there was nothing. Nothing at all.